I thank you for joining me for this WRR 101 Focus on the Arts. I'm Amy Bishop. Theatre3 is presenting a brand new stage adaptation of Agatha Christie's 1926 novel, The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, which sounds like a good old-fashioned crime drama with twists and turns and unexpected outcomes. It's on stage April 16th through May 10th, and it's a pleasure to be joined right now by a company member playing the role of Hercule Poirot, Paul Taylor, and director and artistic director Jeffrey Schmidt. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Amy.
Great to be here.
All right, guys. So let's start by you kind of giving a premise of the storyline of this and how does it stay true to the original novel?
You want me to take that one, Paul?
Sure, you're the director. I think you should.
Sure. Well, I don't think I'm giving anything away because it's in the title. So there's a murder that happens in the small town of King's Abbot in England. Agatha Christie's beloved character, Hercule Poirot, comes in to help solve the mystery. Everyone's a suspect. It's a small town. Everyone's gossiping. Everyone has opinions. There's twists and turns, and you don't find out who done it till right up at the end, and it's a big shocker. It was one of her more celebrated stories that she wrote. It's beloved by Agatha Christie lovers.
The website says it's a brand new stage adaptation. So tell us what that includes and how it differs from previous ones.
You want me to keep going, Paul? You jump in anytime.
Yeah. No, I think so.
What's so great about this is that for people who are big Agatha Christie fans, it honors the story that you've read in the novel, but we are telling it in a wholly original, highly theatrical way. It's a tour de force performance by just 8 actors, creating the entire town of King's Abbot, headed by Hercule Poirot. And you put your expectations of a boring drawing room drama where everyone's side-eye glances and accusing everybody while sniffing brandy and all of those things. That's not this at all. It moves quickly. It's fast-paced. For people who have attention spans of a carrot, don't worry, we got you covered.
And I might add, it has to be that way, because if you were to take the book and do, let's say you did a series, it would be a full 10 episodes. And that would even cover it all. There's so many details in the original book, and Blake Hackler, who adapted it for the stage for our show, has I don't know, miraculously taken just what matters, just what really, really matters, and condensed it down to this play that is so fast-paced, as Jeffrey said, and it is still going to be around 2 hours long, because that's another reason it has to be fast-paced, because today's audiences, they're not gonna sit there. They don't want 3 hours watching a murder mystery. I mean, the days of 3 plays over. So it my biggest thing about that is I just don't want anyone to get bored with me. And I'm out on stage a lot. And so it has to be poppy, just pop, pop, pop.
That does lead me into my next question regarding cast. Paul, you're a cast member. Tell me about your character and then tell us who else is involved in this production.
Okay, I don't know that I'll remember everybody's name. So that's, but I won't. But so Jeffrey, maybe you'll help me on that. I don't know. But I play Hercule Poirot. He's a classic detective. He is Belgian, not French. But for the sake of the audience's ears, he'll sound a little more French, who's been in England for a long time, than Belgian, because Belgian is very difficult to understand. French can be, but we're making it so they can at least understand what I'm saying, except when I'm speaking French, because I do speak French a bit. But everyone thinks he's a hairdresser. until they find out differently. He's got, well, obviously, he's got he's just got a manner about him, and he's got, as they say in the book, suspiciously black hair, and he is in this play retired. He's a retired detective, and he's got, you know, the big old mustache. In the book, it's a double mustache. It's a lot, and he very mild mannered, very polite, and the smartest one in the room in every case. He's always the smartest one in the room. He's an observer. He's a cat. He's just constantly really watching for those micro expressions, as they say. And he puts it all together, and he doesn't let anyone really know what he's thinking ever, unless he trusts them and really, really likes them. It's really fun. I'm still, of course, exploring it and experimenting with it. And and he's odd. He's an odd person. That's why Jeffrey cast me.
So is he like a Belgian Sherlock Holmes kind of?
Kind of.
Okay. And in question, did you grow your mustache especially for this, or do you have a mustache all year?
Well, quite often as an actor, I will have full facial hair because I'm like, you never know when you're going to need it. But I did when I got the part, which was a few months ago. I just started. I'm like, I'm going to have a big old mustache. I wish it was even bigger. But yeah, I grew it for the show. And then I dyed it recently. The hair is dyed. It's all just, I'm older than I look.
And why did they describe his hair as suspiciously dark? Like, what does that imply?
It's obviously dyed.
Okay.
Mine looks obviously dyed because I didn't actually dye it black, but I've just been using stuff on it to at least make it darker.
Jeffrey, do you want to tell us who else is involved in the cast for this production?
Sure. It's a cast of 8 people in total, including Paul and the other narrator in the show, played by John Flores. He plays Dr. Shepard, and they share the stage in narrating this story. In the book originally, most of the narration falls to Dr. Shepard, but they share it in our adaptation because we got to give the people what they want. We need to give them plenty of Hercule Poirot, and the other 6 actors then cover all of the other characters. Everyone's playing at least 2 or 3 more characters in the show, with some Theatre3's favorites, including Catherine DeBoard and Sean Gann, all professional actors here in the Metroplex. So if you've got favorites, there's a good chance you're going to see one of them on our stage. And it's purely, this is what, you know, live performance gives you that maybe necessarily a TV program can't. Watching just 8 people create this entire world, and you're going to be immersed in it. It's an intimate space. You'll be surrounded by the town of Kings Abbott and all these just 8 actors creating this whole world.
So you kind of lead me into my next question as well, as far as you know, the beauty of live theater, the importance of it. Tell us why people should come out and see this, and what audiences are really going to get into this.
You know, I think quite often people think that professional live theater and the creation of brand new live theater only happens in New York, and that's just not the case. We have one of the most robust performing arts communities in the country, and a lot of and just amazing theater. Theatre3, now being around since 1961, has 3 Pulitzer Prize winners that started as young artists at Theatre3, and they credit Theatre3 for part of their development, including countless other artists and you know, famous television and film personalities. We are part of a vibrant professional performing arts community that a lot of, I think, Dallas and Metroplex residents don't realize that is there for them to take advantage of. It's again, it's a chance to be around people. I think that a lot of people crave instead of spending all your evenings on the couch, get out, be shoulder to shoulder with some friends and strangers. And what's so great about Theatre3 is we're surrounded by restaurants you can walk to. We have free parking, which is unheard of in the downtown area when you're going to see shows. It's a great place to plan a whole evening and finish it up with a great piece of theater.
For anyone who is unfamiliar with Theatre3, can you, remind me when the company was founded? How long ago?
It was founded in 1961. Their first season was downtown in the Sheraton Hotel. Then they spent the next few years in an old car garage that they renovated into a theater. And then in 1969, they moved to the Quadrangle. And really, it was an anchor for that early development in the Uptown area before Uptown became what it is now. And then in the last 5 years, the Quad has been completely redeveloped, with us still there and now surrounded by beautiful restaurants and a green space. We were pioneers early on, producing avant-garde theater in the early 60s and 70s. We were an integrated stage well before 1965 with African-American playwrights in our first few seasons. So there's a great history behind Theatre3.
What's the story behind the name Theatre3?
It goes back to our founder, Norma Young, the three pillars of live theater. And at the time, it was artists, authors, and audience. Those are the three pillars of live theater, and that's where Theatre3 came from.
I have worked there since 1986, and I did not know that.
Paul, gosh, so you've been with the company since, 80 what, 6?
You know what? I might be confused about that. I say 86. That's when I first moved to Dallas, so that's probably not correct. But still, it was like 1990, so close.
How many productions have you been in since
How
then?
many? What'd you say?
Oh, yeah. How many plays have you been in since
This
then?
is my 15th show at Theatre3.
Oh my gosh. So with this particular character in this play, what attracted you to this role?
Oh, I just, the fact that I get to do a French dialect is just, I love it so much. He's a classic character. I wanted to work with Jeff again. I mean, it's been a while, and just it's Agatha Christie. It's Hercule Poirot. He's this classic character, and he's quirky, and that's I would describe myself, and others would too, as a quirk. So, and the language is really, he uses so many words to say the simplest things. And while it's difficult to learn the lines, saying them once I know them is just, it's like poetry. And a lot of the script is taken directly, like the part where I reveal all, the last the 3-page monologue, the 2.5-page monologue at the end, is taken directly from the book. So it's most of it is, and it's strictly Agatha Christie, and it's like, oh boy, she wrote by recording into a dictaphone. Apparently, that's a story I've heard, that she didn't actually write. She would dictate into a dictaphone, and that's how she wrote her books. So perhaps that's just how she talked. I don't know, but not easy to learn the lines, but so much fun. And Jeffrey, I'm almost off book, and so close, but so fun to play with. And once you are on top of that, then you work with the walking stick, and you work with the finicky, and you work with the mustache wax, and you work with just being this strange person who doesn't go with anyone else in the entire town. He's just moved to this small town because he wants quiet and peace. And then, of course, what happens is a bloody murder happens. So he doesn't get what he wants. And then he gets drawn back into it just when he's ready to be, calm. But, what else is he going to do?
Yeah, I'll say that, people have their favorites and who's played this role, whether it's David Suchet or Kenneth Branagh, and Paul has created his own. It honors, I think, what everyone loves in this character, but also he's made it his own in a very engaging way.
Thank you. I have no choice. I can't, I have no choice. I just
Jeffrey, what have you
my-
enjoyed about your the role that you're playing in this production?
As director, I this is what I love most about being able to direct. I said that this moves so quickly. We go from location to a different location just on the, just it just happens like that with a snap of a finger. An actor goes from one character to the other, the snap of a finger. And it is so uniquely theatrical and so something that I think it can only be experienced fully in a live setting. That's the kind of theater I love making. One location, everyone's playing one character. Yeah, that's fine. But this takes highly skilled artists to do something like this, and it's just a joy to work with them every day to help them. I'm just a guide. They're bringing everything they can to it, and I just maybe nudge them in one direction or another direction. It's thrilling every night.
You're nudging us in all the directions.
Jeffrey, how long have you been with Theatre3?
In different capacities. My first performance at Theatre3 was in 1998. And ever since then, I've had a different role there, whether as an artist in residence, director, scenic designer, and I became artistic director in 2017.
Great. And as far as this production goes, is it all ages? Is there a recommended age bracket that people should, abide by? Are there any, limits as far as age of audience members?
I don't think so. If your youngins are comfortable with the idea of talking about murder, I mean,
Right.
it's sort of pretty prevalent out there. It's hard to avoid. Besides that, there's nothing else in there. It's filled with humor. It's a very, very funny adaptation. So people, I think, are going to be entertained. If you're looking for a good time, but also if you're one of those who just loves a good murder podcast, but it's all of that rolled up into one.
Paul, I don't have the opportunity to interview actors very often, and it's so much fun when I do. In this question, it came to my mind as you were talking about that 3-page monologue that you have. What is your process? Can you give away your secrets as far as learning lines?
It's just about learning lines at first, just about putting the words in your head. So what I do is I take the script and I start writing it with my own hand on paper. I just write it over and over again and over and over again. And when I first start, I don't even really think that much about it. I just write it. It's a process that someone taught me years ago that really is like magic. If you see the words here and you put them over here and you write them in they come out of you onto that paper, then it gets in some magic way. And it used to be easier. Years ago, it was easier. It takes a little longer these days, but and then eventually, excuse me, after that has really started working, then you can start saying the lines as you do that. And then at some point, you're not writing them anymore. Well, maybe you're not writing them, you're writing them, but you're not looking at the original script. You're just writing them out. And then you look at that and you look at what's actually printed and you're like, okay, that word is wrong. And. So you're constantly editing what you just wrote till it's perfect, till it matches the script that you've been given. And then eventually, you are off book and then you can start playing. There are many schools of thought about that. There are 2 schools of thought about that. Like, learn your lines before your first rehearsal. When you can do that, great. And then you can just know your lines already. So all you're doing in rehearsal is playing. That's all you're doing, because you can just act, you can just create, you can just go to that world. But the other way is you learn your lines in rehearsal with blocking, with movement, and then you can give that. It helps you learn the lines because you know where you move at a certain point and what you're saying goes with it. So that also works. So that's my method. I just write it until it's in my head.
Jeffrey, what about you as far as your process as director and artistic director when you're sussing it all out in your head beforehand?
Uh, you know, of course, you always start with just reading the script, and I pretty quickly form visuals in my head. I'm highly visual. Actually, that goes all the way to learning lines for me as well. I see them in my head. I never write them, but when I, as an actor, learn, I see them in my head because I'm highly visual, which is why I often scenic design and direct at the same time, like I'm doing with this piece. Um, and so images inspire me, music inspires me. And I think the thing that's exciting about this one in particular is I had to find a way to fall in love with this script because I am not naturally a mystery. I don't gravitate towards mysteries. And it's not my first love. But I found things I really loved in this adaptation that I'm trying to highlight and bring out. And so that's typically how I start, is with visual inspiration, sound inspiration. But you have to work with the text. You work with what's given to you. Yes, we have a novel that we can reference, but in the end, what we're presenting is the script, the play. And I try to take almost all of my inspiration from those words and what the playwright intended.
Do you ever find yourself making adjustments based on who's in the cast, and maybe you've got a vision in your mind ahead of time, and then you see how a certain cast member is approaching their role, and then you adjust based on that?
Absolutely. You have to work with people's strengths. I think I learned that early on as a young director. You cannot force a round peg in a square hole. You work with people's strengths. Everyone comes with something different and what they're going to bring to a role, a character, or a design, whether it's another lighting designer or a sound designer. You have to trust in what they do, especially in a professional setting. They're coming with good ideas. And in the end, that's another beauty of this collaborative art form. It's collaborative. It's not just me as you know, 60, 70, 80 years ago, if you picked up a script to read, quite often they don't even list the director's name. Because it was viewed differently back then. And I take that to heart, that I am part of the process, but I am not going, it's not a dictatorship.
Love that. Not everyone feels that way.
Is there anything that I've not asked that you guys would like our listeners and our viewers to know about the production or about Theatre 3 or anything else?
I think one of the most exciting things for people who may be new to theater that we offer, that is a low risk entry. If you want to come check us out, Thursdays we have $10 rush tickets. So hey, if you've never been but want to check us out and want a sort of a low risk financial outing, come on our Thursdays. It's a $10 ticket if you come an hour before the show starts.
Very good. All right. Well, I have been speaking with Paul Taylor, company member playing the role of, and I keep hoping I say it right, Hercule Poirot.
Pretty much perfect.
Okay, good. Director and artistic director Jeffrey Schmidt for the upcoming production of Agatha Christie's, or it's based on Agatha Christie's 1926 novel, The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. Guys, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us today. We're so looking forward to this production.
Thanks for the time, Amy.